Hello, this is Mrs. Ringrose, and we are working on another skill in order to solve variables in an equation. Sometimes you have an example where there's a variable on both sides. If you notice the example I just gave you, 8p plus 9 equals 2p minus 27. There's going to be an extra step in there that you need to do in order to solve correctly. So let's go back to my cute little fill in the blank here. After you've combined all your like terms and you've done any distributive property, anything like that, because that's simplifying, that has to be done before you do anything else, we use this word collect, all the variables to the same side of the equation. Please don't look at this and tell me you're going to divide everything by 8, because that's not going to help you out. So here we go. Example number 1. There's nothing to combine because if you look at each side of the equation by itself, at this point sometimes it's helpful for my students to put a line through the equal side so they can look at each side independently. You have one side that says 8p plus 9. There's nothing to combine. There's no distributive property. Your other side of the equation is 2p minus 27. There's no like terms to combine. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all of our variable terms to one side. Now the trick is you usually want to move the smaller. You don't have to. Some people just like to always move to the left. But if you move the smaller, then you avoid negative stuff, and people don't like that. So I am going to subtract. So I'm going to identify that 2p is my smaller variable term, and that's what I'm going to choose to subtract. So 8p plus 9 equals 2p minus 27. And what I want to do is minus this 2p to cancel it out. And if I do it to one side of the equation, I need to do it to the other side of the equation. So, and what I did was subtract 2p from both sides. 2p or not 2p? That's the question a lot of teachers have sometimes. We just don't have time. All right, so 2p minus 2p gives me 0 p's, which is what I want. So now on this side, I have 8p minus 2p, gives me 6p plus 9. And on this side, I am left with that negative 27. That is probably the biggest mistake I see, is they forget that it's a negative on that 27. All right, then after this, it's just like our other equations that we've been working really hard on, so I'm sure you can take it from here. Next thing I'm going to want to do is subtract 9 from both sides, right? Get everything away from that 6p. So 6p plus 9 minus 9 equals negative 27. That's not a 7. Negative 27 minus 9. So again, 9 minus 9 is 0. So they cancel each other out. And I'm left with 6p equals negative 36. And at this point, I want to get rid of that 6. I know that this is 6 times p. And I want to ask myself, what's the inverse of multiplying? Division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. And these cancel out. So I'm left with my final answer, p equals negative 6. Right, and then you should, of course, go back and do my favorite part, which is the checking. So you're going to throw both sides in the calculator if you want. Does 8 times negative 6 plus 9 give me 2 times negative 6 minus 27? Negative 48 plus 9, is that the same thing as negative 16? Sorry, not 16. Negative 12 minus 27? And the answer is, I think I might need a calculator. I'm just lying. Negative 39 equals negative 39. Check. All right. So I'm going to do 2 more examples with you, and then maybe, 2 examples, and then you're going to go ahead on your own. So this one up here, again, if it's helpful to you, you can go ahead and draw that line to let you know that there are x's on both sides. When they're on opposite sides, you use opposite signs. Alright, just like if I had to move that -9 to the other side, I would have to use the additive inverse and I'd have to add 9. I'm going to do the same thing with my x term. So which x term is smaller? Turns out the -4 is smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and add 4x to both sides. So that's my original equation. I'm going to throw in that I'm adding 4x to both sides. These guys cancel out because I have 0 x's left on that side, which is what I want. And over on the left side, 6 plus 4 is 10x. I still have that -9. And I have 21 left over there. And again, I'm sure you can take it from here. I need to add 9 to both sides. And -9 plus 9 comes 0, so I cross those guys out. And I get left with 10x equals 30. And lastly, I'm going to divide. And after you get that x is 3, you should totally go back and put it into your equation and make sure it works. All right, again, this is a YouTube video, so feel free to pause me and watch it again if you think I went too fast during a spot. YouTube also allows you to slow down my speech, which is awesome. All right, I'm not going to do the example below because it's kind of the same as the other ones, but you should do that and have it checked by me or Mrs. Lang. And then, oh, all these are kind of the same. Well, this bottom one here, this top one, don't forget you got to put 1 in it. And then we'll do this bottom one, because this bottom one illustrates that sometimes you have to simplify before you collect. So again, I'm going to put this line here. And if we just look at the left side, I'll notice that there's these 2 x terms on the same side already. So before I start moving things to different sides of the equation, I'm going to want to go ahead and combine that first. So I'm regrouping so that my next step is combine like terms. So again, before you go ahead and move stuff to different sides, you're going to want to... Oh, Ariana, you're in trouble. Before you go ahead and move things to different sides and use the additive inverse, you want to simplify first. -8x plus 3x is -5x plus 7. Over here I still have 2x minus 28. And which x term is my smaller one? Well, 2 seems like a smaller number, but if you look at the -5, you'll notice hopefully that's negative, and so that one's actually the smaller one. So it doesn't matter which one you move, but I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite of -5, which is adding 5. So see how I did that right there? And if I add 5x to one side, I got to add 5x to the other side. And actually, I should have been using this word before, so I'm collecting by adding 5x's to both sides. -5 plus 5 are additive inverses. They cancel out, and I get 7 equals 7x minus 28, because I'm going to put those together. And I'm sure you can take it from here. You're going to want to add 28 to both sides. Okay, a -28 and a positive 28 cancel out to 0, which is what you want. And then over here I have 35 equals 7x's. And then lastly I divide. So x equals 5. Alright, so what did I do? I added 28 and I divide by 7. Alright, and of course you should go back and check it. So, I hope this got you started on seeing examples where you have to move the x's to both sides. Your examples are going to be a little bit more challenging because you're going to have more steps, like the final example. But if you need more practice with the ones that were at the beginning of this video, I can do that for you too. Thank you very much. Have a great day.